Hello and welcome. This is Matthias from mamoworld, and in this After Effects tutorial about the tool automation blocks, I want you to get started with actually writing your own tools with the blocks of automation blocks. And the tool that we are going to create is actually a startup script. I named it here my new project setup script. So whenever you create a new project, you can run this tool. And it asks for a name, let's say my amazing project. And then it does a lot of things. So it creates a folder structure here, folder footage and pre-comps, and also a main composition. And also on the hard drive, quite a lot of things happened. Namely, in my projects folder that I use to store all my projects on my machine, it created a folder, my amazing project, with subfolders for the After Effects project. This is the project here. It saved it already for me. It even checked that my camera is currently connected to my system, and since it was, it also imported the images from my camera into this subfolder of the My Amazing Project folder, and it created an empty final results folder for me. So from creating such a folder structure for my project, saving the project itself, copying footage, setting up a folder structure or a bin structure here inside of my project, and already creating a composition for me. Actually, inside the composition also, I also got guides, because I always like some center guides here. And currently in this very ugly red color, it already created a background shape layer for me. And the point is, maybe when you start a new project, you don't want all of this to happen, but now you learn how to implement all of this, and you can just cherry pick what you want to have in your custom startup script. So let's get started. I've got an empty project now, and here's my automation blocks window. And I first want to rearrange the user interface such that it's more suitable for programming, so to speak. The library is just a collection of existing tools. The script panel is the one I need to create new tools. And the console gives me important debug information, so important output or error messages and stuff like this while I'm programming. So I want to see all of them. Therefore, I take the console and drag it here to the side. Then I take the library and drag it on top of the console. These can be freely moved within the automation blocks panel only, okay? And let's move this here to the side. And now the first thing we want to do today is creating project bins here. And for this, you need to understand where to find those blocks. So you've got tons of categories here with different kinds of blocks, and it might look very scary at the beginning, but the first thing you need to understand is that these blocks up to here are just basic programming blocks, and we are going to learn those step by step, and you don't want to worry too much about them at the beginning. This here is about creating user interfaces, and here all about file handling, so files on your hard disk, copying files, dealing with file names and stuff like this, reading text and spreadsheet files, and all of this is After Effects specific. So this here is mostly the same also for the Premiere Pro version of the tool, and this here is all about working with the After Effects project. Here, blocks about the project itself, so like saving the projects, importing footage into the project, stuff like this. This here is about dealing with individual project items. So if you've got a composition or a footage item inside here and you want to change something about it, read some information from it, whatever, you find the blocks here. This here is about working with comps. This here, these blocks about working with individual layers in a composition. These blocks here are about layer properties, so it's like the position of a layer or an effect control. These blocks are about manipulating keyframes. This here about operating the render queue, and these are some special blocks to convert time and color values into different formats. But for now, we want to create something in our project, so we take a look at the project category, and indeed, there is a create bin block here. Here you can enter the name of the bin you want to create. Let's call this footage. And actually, we can delete here these default blocks of the script. And now let's run this script. And you can see it created a bin footage for me. You can also duplicate this. I right-clicked and choose duplicate. Okay, now I've got 3 copies already. And you can do different things. You can, so for example, say create a folder foo/bar. Now, and let me maybe delete the third one again. This will, if you run it, you can see created a folder foo and inside a folder bar. Now you might wonder, what is this, a parent bin thing here? Well, the same thing, you could also say something like create inside the foo folder, a folder bar. This would be identical, except that it would complain now if this parent bin does not exist. But this is more for more fancy things, like, let's say in the project items, we access here the only selected project bin. And now we would have a script, maybe let's delete this one, that creates a folder bar inside the only selected project bin. So if I select footage, it will create the bar folder here. If I select the bar folder, it will create a bar inside the bar folder. Yeah, this is just how fancy it can become. But anyway, what we want to do now in our script is just to create a folder footage and another one maybe for precoms. Okay, and let's test this. We delete everything in our project again and say run script. Created those two project bins now for me. Okay, the other thing we want to achieve now is that it actually creates a new project. So going to file, new project before doing these other things. So therefore we go here again to the app and project category and check if there is something to create a new project. Save project, open project, close project, new project. So you can just drag this here on top. And usually I would say if current project has unsaved changes, we want to prompt. This means if we run the tool now, it says save changes to my amazing project before closing, and you can decide, say don't save. Now, since we are going to run this project script here many times now and don't want to prompt each time, I just go to don't save. Just during our development, but for the final result of the script, you probably want to keep it at prompt or force it to always save before creating the new project. One last thing I want to show you in this tutorial is how to access the documentation of the blocks. So if you later, for example, wonder how does this creating bins block work exactly, you can simply right-click on it and choose help. And this will bring you to the exact part of the online documentation where this particular block is described, and you get a full description how to use it here with examples and all things you need to understand how this block is exactly working. Yeah, and this is already the end of the first tutorial. We can now save this new script. I clicked Save As, and now in my automation blocks library, I call this new project script class 1. Save. And now the script is here in your library such that you can run it super conveniently. Okay, I hope you liked this first part and I hope that it was not too scary. In the next part, we are going to set up here this project folder structure and I show you how to create a little user interface to ask for the new project name. I'm Matthias for mamoworld.com and I'm looking forward to see you in the next part.